What if I told you that success is a terrible teacher? That the very things that build you up can secretly be setting you up for a spectacular collapse?
Look at this office. Imagine the energy that was here. The ping pong tables, the free kombucha on tap, the buzz of $1 billion idea coming to life. This was the headquarters of Zenith Systems. You might not remember the name, and that's the point. 2 years ago, they were a tech unicorn, valued at over $20 billion. They were going to revolutionize how we connect. Their logo was everywhere.
And then, poof, almost overnight, they were gone. Not with a slow decline, but with a single, stunning announcement that folded the company like a house of cards. How does that happen? How does a giant just vanish? The easy answer is to say they ran out of money, but that's like saying someone died because their heart stopped. It's technically true, but it misses the real, fascinating, and frankly, terrifying disease. The story of Zenith isn't just a business case study. It's a cautionary tale for all of us about the 3 silent killers of success. And understanding them might just save your career, your startup, or even your personal dreams.
Killer 1. The reality-defying fantasy. Every great story starts with a kernel of truth. For Zenith, that kernel was a genuinely brilliant piece of software, a communication tool that was faster and more elegant than anything else. It was their rocket fuel. And for a while, it worked. They got users, they got hype, they got funding. But then something shifted. They fell in love with their own publicity. The story they were telling investors became more important than the product they were selling to real people. They built a reality-defying fantasy. Let me give you a theoretical concept we can call the metrics mask. This is when a company, or a person, focuses only on the metrics that make them look good and ignores the ones that reflect reality. For Zenith, their metrics mask was user growth. They were obsessed with getting new users, so they spent hundreds of millions on Super Bowl ads and influencer campaigns. The board loved it. The graph went up and to the right. But behind the mask, the activation rate, the number of people who actually used the product regularly, was pathetically low. Their retention rate, the number who stuck around after a month, was a ghost town. And their revenue per user? Don't even ask. It was like throwing a massive party where everyone shows up for the free pizza, but no one actually talks to each other, and they all leave without buying a drink.
The practical advice here is brutally simple. You must have the courage to measure what hurts. Are you tracking vanity metrics? Instagram likes, a fancy job title, a busy schedule? Or are you tracking the metrics of real, substantial progress? Are you getting better at your craft or just better at looking busy? Are your relationships deep or just numerous? Zenith forgot to ask these questions until it was too late.
Killer 2. The culture of yes. The second killer thrives in the shadows of success. I call it the culture of yes. In the early days, Zenith was scrappy. People argued, debated, and challenged each other. The best idea won. But as the money poured in and the company grew, a subtle shift occurred. The founder, once a hungry visionary, became a visionary with a capital V. His ideas were no longer suggestions, they were prophecies. I heard a story from a former engineer. The founder had an idea for a new feature. Let's call it Auto Friend. It would use an algorithm to automatically connect you to people it thought you should know. The data team ran the numbers. It was a privacy nightmare, and users would hate it. The UX designer said it was intrusive. The engineer said it was a technical rabbit hole. But one by one, they were silenced. Not by a tyrant, but by the sheer weight of the company's success. The thinking was, well, he got us this far. Who are we to question him? The meeting to approve AutoFriend was a chorus of nods. The only dissenting voice, a junior product manager, was told she wasn't a team player. She left a month later. The theoretical insight here is from group psychology, groupthink. It's the desire for harmony and conformity in a group that leads to irrational decision-making. It creates an environment where dissent is seen as disloyalty. The practical takeaway for you? Build your personal council of no. Surround yourself with people who have the permission and the courage to tell you the truth. Not haters, not naysayers, but honest, critical thinkers who will look at your life, your business plan, your art, and say, okay, but what about this problem? Have you considered this risk? If everyone in your life is always agreeing with you, you're living in a fantasy as dangerous as Zenith's.
Killer 3, the monument to nowhere. And this brings us to the final, fatal blow, the killer that ties it all together. With the metrics mask on and the culture of yes in full swing, Zenith made its masterpiece of failure. They decided to build a new, state-of-the-art headquarters. Not just any office, a campus. Designed by a world-famous architect, it had a meditation waterfall, a full-service gym with personal trainers, and a free sushi bar for all employees. They called it the Zenith, a monument to their own success. The cost? A cool $2 billion. They were building a monument to a future that didn't exist. They were solving for, how do we look like a $50 billion company, instead of how do we become a $50 billion company? This is what happens when a company or a person confuses activity with achievement. They were so busy looking successful, they forgot to be successful. They were building the palace while the kingdom was burning. The theoretical principle is the sunk cost fallacy on a massive scale. They had invested so much in this image of success, the hype, the visionary founder, the lavish spending, that they couldn't pull back. To admit the palace was a mistake would be to admit the entire kingdom was a lie. So what's the practical, motivational lesson for us? Focus on the engine, not the hood ornament. Are you spending your time, your money, your energy on the shiny things that signal success? Or are you investing it in the unsexy, fundamental engine that actually creates it? Are you buying the fancy notebook and the expensive pens, or are you actually writing the book? Are you building the perfect home gym, or are you actually working out?
The story of Zenith Systems is a tragedy, but it doesn't have to be ours. Their $20 billion overnight vanishing act wasn't an accident. It was the inevitable result of 3 silent killers. The reality-defying fantasy, they chose the flattering metric over the honest one. The culture of yes, they silenced the critical voices that could have saved them. And the monument to nowhere, they prioritized looking successful over being successful. So I want you to ask yourself these questions right now, be it for your project, your career, or your life. What is my metrics mask? What comforting lie am I telling myself? Who is in my council of no? Who has permission to tell me the hard truth? Am I building an engine or just a hood ornament? Success isn't just about what you build. It's about having the brutal self-awareness to see the cracks in your own foundation before the whole thing collapses. The fall of a giant is never about one thing. It's about 1,000 small compromises with the truth. The world is full of zeniths, both companies and people, building their monuments to nowhere. Don't be one of them. If you found this dive into the psychology of failure valuable, and you want to understand the hidden forces that shape our world, from tech giants to the secrets of motivation, then do what your critical mind is telling you to do. hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We break down complex stories every week so you can build a more resilient future. What company should we break down next? Let me know in the comments. Stay curious, stay critical. See you in the next one.